What if your intuition isn't something outside of you that you have to reach, but it's already alive within you, just waiting for you to stop disconnecting from it? I know you want help accessing your intuition. You wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't. And honestly, it's quite simple, and I'm going to explain it to you. But first, you have to understand why you've been struggling and why it's been feeling frustrating or confusing or maybe even a little unattainable. Almost every time someone asks me to help them with their intuition, they're looking for the same thing. They're like, can you just tell me some sort of a process? Can you give me the steps or the framework or like a method to follow so that I know what result I'm looking for and I can track my progress and get there? And I completely understand that because that's exactly what I was looking for when I was trying to learn. And I didn't understand why nobody could just tell me what that was, right? Can you just give me like some sort of way to be really clear on what it is I'm supposed to be doing? Can you just tell me to do this and then this and then this and then great, now you're gonna get this result. And that makes perfect sense because that's how we've been taught to approach everything in life. Follow the formula, practice enough, hone the skill, get the result. So of course we assume that intuition works the same way. But over time, I realized something that completely changed the way I understood how intuition works. The how is a lot more nuanced than mastering a skill. The how is you and your relationship with loving you. And I know that sounds completely intangible and maybe even like annoying or dumb. But I promise there's wisdom here, okay? So just stay with me. When we think about love, we think about emotion, about connecting with another person, about romance or showing affection. We don't usually associate it with something practical or being able to use it in order to access some sort of deeper perception or inner knowing. But that's exactly where we need to shift our perspective, because your intuition isn't a skill or ability that you need to acquire. It's not separate from you. It is you. So that's what makes it completely different from learning any other skill or ability. I want you to think about everything in terms of energy, okay? Your intuition is a channel that runs through every single one of your cells. Your cells vibrate with energy, and this energetic vibration is how they communicate with you. These vibrations carry information about you, about how you feel, what you believe, who you believe that you are, or who you desire to be. Your vibration, which comes from your cells, is the makeup of everything that you are, your consciousness, your essence, your light. And when you become quiet enough, present enough, open enough, you feel it. You begin to feel what's true for you. And that is why your intuition is not separate from you. It is literally the intelligence of your very being communicating with you. And for that reason, your intuition isn't only accessed within you, it is you. It is literally the very makeup of the essence of you. And so in order to be able to tune into it, you have to be willing to tune into you, what you feel, what you carry, what exists beneath the surface. And this is where things become challenging for most people, because tuning into you requires vulnerability. It requires compassion. It requires the willingness to feel and be with the parts of you that you may have spent years avoiding. Your shame, your sadness, your guilt, your uncertainty, your fear. And when there are parts of you that you are unwilling to feel, you disconnect from the very place your intuition speaks to you through. Because your intuition does not bypass your humanity. It moves through it. And this unwillingness to feel or acknowledge certain parts of you creates this disconnect or fracturing within you, a distance between your mind and your heart. You close your eyes looking to feel what's there, and your mind immediately says, no, not that feeling, not that vulnerability, not that truth, because it feels scary. And the moment your internal world becomes unsafe to experience, your body contracts, your heart closes, your awareness narrows, and your truth becomes harder to perceive. Not because you're lacking some skill or ability, but because your system is protecting you from feeling what's there. And this is why intuition becomes difficult to access, because ultimately you don't want to. So it's important to understand that the work is not about becoming more intuitive. It's about understanding why you haven't felt safe enough to listen, why you haven't wanted to be fully here, why certain parts of you have felt too painful or too vulnerable or too overwhelming to welcome in. Because intuition requires openness, and openness requires love and compassion, and love and compassion require the willingness to listen, to be here with the parts of you that are painful and vulnerable, and being willing to allow those expressions of you to exist. And this is why intuition is deeply connected to the heart, because the heart allows. The mind tries to analyze truth, but the heart experiences it directly. And when your heart opens, you perceive life differently. You no longer feel the need to run from your pain or escape your emotions or silence the parts of you that feel uncomfortable to face. And instead, you begin allowing those parts of you to speak. And when they're allowed to speak, they reveal things. Your exhaustion reveals what's no longer aligned. Your resentment reveals where your boundaries have been crossed. Your longing reveals a life that's calling to you. Your grief reveals what mattered to you. And suddenly, your inner world is not just negative emotion. It becomes information. It becomes a form of communication guiding you through it. And when you stop resisting those internal experiences, they start revealing paths forward. Opportunities you couldn't see before, choices that were hidden, experiences waiting for you to acknowledge their presence. And this is the shift. Your pain is no longer just something happening against you. It becomes something communicating with you. It becomes guidance. Your pain becomes something presenting you with opportunities in the form of intuitive information. So when we come back to the question of how do I access my intuition, the answer becomes learning how to love yourself enough to listen and learning how to stay present with how you feel. And this is the work. Choosing to soften and choosing to stay. And this isn't stuff we're taught how to do. So for me personally, I hired a coach to help me. And it became this very slow and gradual process of unraveling all of these parts of me that were resistant to loving me and forgiving me, and learning how to choose those instead. And eventually my intuition opened naturally. And after 11 months of doing this work consistently is when my trance channeling came online. But it wasn't a skill or ability that I had to acquire. It was innate to who I am. I just had to be willing to allow it. Higher frequencies are frequencies of love. And what allows us to perceive them and communicate with them is the willingness to allow love itself. So, learning how to access your intuition isn't really about mastering a skill. It's learning how to be with you patiently, compassionately, honestly. It's about closing your eyes, taking a deep breath, and tuning into how you feel, and just exploring what's there with an open heart. And eventually, truth will rise. And if you're looking for support with this process, whether through sessions with me or my live events, I would love to hold you through it, because this work is so much deeper than just knowing things. It offers a completely different relationship with you. And that might be the greatest gift about it, is the ability to recognize where there's more room for love and the opportunity to grant it freely.